All good?
You're good.
Okay. So the first thing is it's about quality versus quantity in terms of if you're looking to attract quality people who have influence over a lot of people. In a previous company a few years back, I basically was able to enroll 3 key people who developed 80% of my business. And in fact, one of those people was not the person who was responsible for my largest team, but that person led me to someone 2 levels down who built 60% of our team. So it's also not just who you're going to actually attract through this marketing, but who they're going to attract. It is a numbers game. You need to sift and sort through a lot of rocks to find the diamonds in this. To understand that the more people you engage, you're going to find those quality people. But I first want to share why I chose this approach. I hope this is actually relatable and gives you a bit of my personal story. I struggled to talk to people when I got involved in network marketing about 30 years ago. I had a stutter really bad from about 7 years of age, all through my teenage years and my 20s and 30s, where basically I would introduce myself to somebody and the words wouldn't come out. I couldn't even get my name out, let alone doing a presentation. So this industry was very, very challenging for me. The phone absolutely terrified me. I would get on the phone, the words wouldn't come out. I think it was a stalker on the other end of the phone because under his breathing, that was all that was coming out sometimes. And I have to try and call back a second or third time. So, you know, I faced a lot of challenges. I was socially awkward in meeting people. You know, I was terrified of introducing myself to somebody because of that memory in the back of my head that I was going to have trouble getting my name out, let alone having an actual dialogue. So I was not the person who was comfortable in engaging conversation with other people. I was very actually reactive to conversations. And my only thought in my head was, can I get the words out? So I had to find ways to let tools do the talking where I could, and that was back in the days of audio cassettes and video cassettes and flyers and, you know, booklets and those sort of tools. We didn't have the internet back when I started 30 years ago, but I learned to leverage tools. And I learned to develop systems that gave me structure, but also gave me quality of life, because I realized that if I could get me out of the way and let a tool do the talking, that was going to go a long way in helping me build my business. And the most important thing I learned is you've got to get out of your own head. I know there's people on this call today, or you know people in your own team, who are very self-conscious about when they're trying to pitch their opportunity to somebody or share opportunity with somebody, how they're going to actually react. The person they're talking to will respond to them. And it was like with my stuttering that I would introduce myself to somebody and they would tell me their name, tell me all about themselves, but I wasn't listening to anything they were saying. I was only thinking about the 5 different ways I was going to say my name and start the conversation. Hopefully one of them would come out the right way, and don't ask me to repeat what I just said because I had enough trouble getting it out the first time. And it's sort of like that's how most people are when they're marketing. They're so much in their own head that you're not really paying attention to the other person. And when I learned to get out of my own head and realize that it wasn't about me, it was about them, and to listen actually attentively to what they're saying, things become a lot easier. So I hope that helps. So social media 101, it's called social for a reason. You need to socially interact, engage, and be a valued part of the community. Social networks and the algorithms thrive on you engaging. It's not about just pitching. You've got to interact with people in a real, authentic, genuine way that you would like people to interact with you. It's amazing how many people interact with me online in ways that's completely out of character with who they are because they've been taught this way of doing things, and it doesn't work. People will pick up straight away if you're not being authentic and you don't sound like you're a real person, or you wouldn't interact with somebody normally face to face. So the types of posts that you're going to be putting out there need to be adding value. They need to be interesting, need to be uplifting. They need to provide education and generate interaction and actually be provocative. If you look at my timeline, you'll see that I don't mind challenging points of view on different topics with politics, the world view, all sorts of things. It's not to actually be an antagonist, but I like to start conversations where I get people to think, because in reality, most people are going through life just cruising through without actually thinking about much at all. And I like to actually stimulate conversation. And it's good to get contrasting points of view. I'm not looking for everyone to actually agree with me, but the more interaction you get, the more likely that Facebook's going to feature you as well. It's no different to the people that actually write negative reviews about companies. They know that they'll get a lot of dialogue happening about that review, and Google will rank them higher as well. But one of the things I like to do is I like to leverage other people's posts. So I look for interesting articles. You'll see on Facebook as you go through your timeline, you'll see a lot of interesting articles about where the world is right now, with the economic situation of the world, with the pandemic, lockdown, leaders in the world telling people to work from home. These are all great third-party validation of what we're trying to pitch. And what I do is I take that post and repost it with my own narrative. I put a little bit of how it actually would actually relate to me and the way I live my life, or how it would potentially impact other people that I would like to have a dialogue with. So you've got to personalize that. Don't just copy and paste something. Add your own personal flavor to it and make it real and actually personable as well. It's really important to borrow other people's posts. Plagiarism is the greatest flattery. I love it when people borrow my posts, because I often borrow a lot of other people's posts. I look at what other good marketers are doing, and I'll just add my own flavor to that. So don't be worried. I'm happy for my team to steal my content in a sense, because that means that if they see value and it's working for me, they know it's working for them. We've still got some people that haven't muted their mics. If you can do that, that'd be great. The important thing, some do nots in posting. Do not spam other people's timelines. I hate it when people come onto my timeline or my posts and they basically start spamming their opportunity without starting a conversation with me and getting to know who I am. That's a big turn off. So don't, you wouldn't like that to happen to your timeline. Don't to other people's timeline. Do not comment on other people's posts pitching your opportunity. Start an actual dialogue, with a relationship with the other person, and get to know that person. Don't just pitch the person. One of the big things, if you go to my timeline, you will never see me mention the name of the company that I'm involved in, the product names, or anything that gives away any information about exactly what the company is. And why is that? Because I want to actually control the narrative all the way through. I don't want somebody racing off to Google or doing a search and finding other people's point of views, who often has nothing to do with what I'm trying to share with them, and may not be in my best interest, because again, people who write actually negative reviews, Google loves that, often ranks them higher, and now they actually got a distorted point of view about what's going on. And not only that, I'm not trying to sell them the whole thing on the first post. I just want to engage conversation. And in fact, people will know that I create presentations where I give people every bit of information about the entire opportunity, and I never have to mention any details of the product or the company in anything that I'm saying until the end. Because the analogy that I give is, if you had to drive from Perth in Western Australia to Sydney, or you're in California driving to New York, and that was your job every day, and you didn't know there was aeroplanes. And I all of a sudden came along and said, rather than driving for a few days, 3, 4, 5 days, you could hop on a plane and fly there in 4 to 6 hours in comfort, have a nice drink, have a meal, read the newspaper, watch a movie. If you didn't want to fly, me trying to pitch you on whether you should fly Virgin or Southwest or Virgin or Qantas in Australia is of no relevance. So me trying to pitch the features and the brand, it is irrelevant until I have now first qualified the person they actually want to fly, that they actually want to make money, they're actually ready to take action, and they're seriously looking for opportunity. So I spend a lot of time qualifying the person before I start pitching the details. You need to control the narrative. You need to be the one providing the information to review, not someone else they find on a Google search. It's all about creating intrigue. Johnny, can I just get you to mute? Anybody comes in, that'd be great.
I can't, because I made you the host, so they have to mute themselves, or you do.
Yeah, please mute yourself if you can. That'd be great. It's all about creating intrigue and curiosity. That's the key to this, intrigue and curiosity. Sorry, I'm just going to see if I can bring up participants. You can be a co-host as well.
If you can do that, Michael, I'll clear them for you.
Okay, let me just make you a co-host. Sorry, folks, just this, that doesn't give the ability to make a co-host, just a host. Okay, sorry. Okay. Curiosity, it's a sifting and sorting process. This was a pivotal point in my whole marketing, to realize that prospecting is not about convincing. People always say to me, how do I convince somebody? Well, that's your first problem. It's not your job to convince anybody. It's not your job to actually manipulate or talk somebody into something, or direct the conversation where it's all about trying to make them do something you want them to do. It is purely a sifting and sorting process. You don't get emotionally attached to who responds, how they respond, or whether they say yes or no in the end. If you went to the cinema and you saw a really great movie and you shared it with friends and other people, you wouldn't get mad or angry if they didn't go and watch the movie. It's the same with this. Yes, you would like the person to benefit from this. Yes, you know people that you'll come across who you see that would really need this, but it's not your job to talk them into it. It's your job just to share and sift and sort and work with those who put their hand up and say, help me. Your goal is to build a pool of people who you have actual relationships with. I'm sorry, if you can just check that your mic is muted, please. So I've got still background noise there, that'd be great. Just to fix everyone. This is the most important thing. I look to build a pool of relationships with people so that over time, at some stage in people's walk, they will become involved. So my whole point of marketing is to build that initial contact. And then once I have that relationship, I know at some point, I had a lady, massage work. I used to do massage work for 15 years, and she was a client of mine, and she came to me. She was very successful in the pharmaceutical industry. Her husband was a builder, very successful in the building industry. And for 6 years, she would come to me as a client and tell me, how's that network marketing thing of yours going? And I'd tell her every single time, it's going well. And 6 years later, her husband, the building industry went through a big downturn. She got pregnant 2 times in a period of 18 months, and she couldn't do her job anymore. And then she came into my clinic one day and said, tell me more about that network marketing thing. Patience. Understand that if you build the relationship first, in time, people's circumstances change to suit, and they will want to know. When you follow up with inquiries that come through social media, it's important to understand that questions are the answers. Take a genuine interest in them and peel the onion. You know, often I connect with people online, and the minute they connect with me, they're immediately spamming me their pre-written messages, like about 10 or 15 of them, bang, 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 bang. And I say to them, how's that working for you? Because it's not working for me. You're turning me off straight away. You know nothing about me. You're actually assuming that I am looking for what you've got. You're assuming that I'm desperate for an opportunity, when in reality, I may not be. Or I might have been, but the way you've approached me is not the way that's going to turn me on. So firstly, build the relationship with people. Ask questions. It's like peeling an onion. You want to peel off layer by layer. It's no different to whether you're doing that in person or online. All the internet did for me was give me a mechanism where I could actually communicate with people globally in the same way that I would interact with people face to face. But what made it easy for me is I could chat to somebody who's having a stutter. Sometimes it was very hard to verbalize what I was going to say. So I was able to chat with people. But even chatting with people, if you chat with people in the way you talk and make it personal and take a genuine interest in the person, they'll want to know about you too. I said here, you know, don't go for one-night stands. Build relationships that will last. That takes time. A lot of people approach their marketing like going for a one-night stand. They want to get laid on the first interaction. Sorry about their cringe, that statement, but that's the truth. That's the way they approach their marketing. If they don't get a result first hit, they're off. That's it, they're done. Don't be like that. People of quality won't be attracted to that. And I always say the relationships are the glue that holds your business together. If the reason somebody is involved is because of your comp plan or a product feature of how much your software is generating in profits, I can guarantee you, as soon as the next person comes along with software that offers them 1% more or a comp plan offers them 5% more, they're racing off to the next opportunity. If you build the relationship with somebody, they'll want to stay with you because they know they can't get the education, the coaching, the training, the mentoring, and the support like they do from you. So again, you know, the internet gives you a great way to provide that on a global scale. And that's the important thing, that make people understand that you are the best person to actually be aligned with. Except that it might take 5 to 10 interactions before you get to discuss your deal. A lot of people think they have to pitch everything on that first conversation. You've got to be a good, that's why I said I don't mention the company on the first pitch. I'm there to stimulate interest. And on the follow-ups, I'm all about engaging with the person and creating dialogue. But I'm also looking to give them things to do, because by giving them things to do, like watch these few videos or read this information and then let's arrange a Zoom to chat, I'm qualifying how seriously interested they really are. Because somebody's not prepared to take 1 minute or 5 minutes or 20 minutes to learn about something that can change their life. Maybe they're not that serious about changing their life. And I've got to decide, do I spend all my time regurgitating information and trying to sell somebody on something, or I just simply interact with the people who say, yeah, I'll look at that and let's arrange a time to talk further. And as they say, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So don't try to actually impress somebody with how much you know about the opportunity. Impress them with how much you care about them having a positive experience with what you've got to share. Understand there will be unfriendlies. The internet is an amazing place for building actual connections, and it's helped me a lot to be successful. But I've also realized that with success, sometimes things go well, opportunities, sometimes they go bad. And you've got to accept that when things go bad, you'll have people that will be critics, or even people just like to be critical online because they find the internet gives them a great way to behave in a way they would never do face-to-face, but they have the courage to do behind a computer screen. So you will have some people who will like to express their views and opinions on your posts. And I don't mind negative interaction, but if it's actually not the right sort of interaction, you do get to control your timeline. So, you know, it's your timeline, it's your posts, and if it's actually not appropriate what they've commented, delete it. You don't have to accept that. And I'm very clear. A lot of people say, oh, you're trying to actually dictate what comes through. And I say, yeah, in a way I am. I don't need that type of comment on my timeline. So I do control my groups and my timeline very, very carefully. And if someone is very unfriendly, unfriend them. If necessary, block them. It's quite okay. You know, would you let somebody that treats you really badly in normal life, who's abusive, to continue to interact with you or your spouse or your children or your friends? Of course you wouldn't. You would just distance yourself from that person. Just because they're on the internet doesn't mean that you don't have that right as well. So I have no issues blocking and unfriending people. So Facebook. One of the important things is Facebook likes you to warm up the engine, a bit like the old cars we used to have. You need to warm the engine up before you really go for a drive. It's very important to warm your engine up first. Posting without doing so will result in very few eyes on your post. This is about you having some social engagement with other people, not just you pitching your stuff and off you go back to your normal life. So, you know, let your upline and other people that you know in your team that you have posted and tell them to give you some love. So if you work as a collective group where you liking and commenting on each other's posts, that will also help your engagement levels and also drive up who's seeing your post. The more interaction, the further it goes to other friends of friends. And that's the whole thing too. You'll start to find that it's not just your circle of friends, because you might not have a big circle of friends, but it's their friends and their friends and their friends ultimately you're trying to get connections to. So ensure your settings are correct. If you have it on public, it goes further. You can change your settings. So if you're on public only, friends can comment.
Bye-bye.
If you want help with your shop window, which is your profile and banner, let us know. But it's really important. Remember, your banner on your header of your Facebook page and the type of posts you make will say a lot about you. So think about the quality of images and posts that you put on your timeline and who you're trying to attract and what you're trying to project. And again, if you can just mute your microphone, who's talking right now, that'd be great. First activities on Facebook every day. Go to your news feed and like, love, heart more so, and comment through the news feed on other people's posts. Ensure you've done that for about 15 minutes. So give some love to other people before you start worrying about other people liking you. Go to your stories and again, like and love and heart other people's stories, about 10 to 15 of those, and target those people who you want to see your posts. Remember, you're trying to create relationships and dialogue with people that you would like to have an engagement with. Go to your messages and reply on previous day's posts and interact as well. Make sure you start interaction. Remember, it's like a friend. If you have a friend that never calls you, never interacts with you, sooner or later you sort of lose interest in that person because they're not giving you any time or effort. So it's no different online. If you don't engage with people, they have no reason to engage with you. Add 5 to 10 targeted people from either requests or groups. Really interesting. Facebook's great in this fact, the more interactive you are on it, it starts to recommend people to you. And just in the last 4 or 5 days, I've had some amazing people who've been recommended to me. And I look at mutual contacts. It'll tell you how many mutual contacts we have. And then I go to that person's timeline and have a look at the sort of posts that they're making. You know, what have they written actually about themselves? Firstly, if someone doesn't have a profile picture, they're immediately a no. If somebody doesn't have any information about themselves, that's a no. If somebody is making actually the wrong sort of posts on their timeline that I don't really identify with, they're a no. I'm looking for the right type of person to engage with. And like I said, in the last 4 or 5 days, I probably added about 20 people that out of those, there's some really high quality people who come out of that. So Facebook's handing me people, but you get recommended better people the more interaction you have. Join groups and see who's commenting and who's posting the sort of comments that you like and start interaction with that person. Send a message to your new friends, a little video or a voice note, you know, add a personal touch. You know, how would you like if somebody sent you a nice little personal video message rather than just a text chat sometimes? So occasionally you got to see the people you're engaging with or a voice clip to hear them as well. So, and share that it's great to interact with them. When I add a new contact, I always send a little message with a bit of information about me and who I am. And it's surprising how many times I would do that and immediately, as I said, the person would reply back with 10 of their spammed pre-written messages about their opportunity, the comp plan, everything else. And the first thing I say to them is, did you not read what, you know, how about saying, hi, how are you? Nice to meet you, nice to connect with you. Spamming me is not going to work. And I would start, not a confrontational dialogue, but I would ask them, how is that working for you? Is spamming people with just pitching opportunity and not even asking anything about them, what sort of results are you getting? And 9 times out of 10, they'd say it's not working very well. And I'd say to them, can I teach you a better way to do things? Are you open to learning a more effective way of doing things? So again, before you unfriend or block them or discard them, sometimes that's an opportunity to grab somebody who's obviously keen to get started and be effective in their marketing. They just haven't been taught well. So I'm trying to teach them a better way to do things. Again, you can see, the things I'm teaching you today take a little bit of time, but to be honest, you've got to invest a bit of time in people before they want to pay attention to you. Daily posting activity on Facebook. If you want to post 3 times a day is recommended, and ensure it's no less than about 4 hours apart, and different types of content, a bit of a lifestyle picture, adding value and motivation. Lifestyle can be about the sort of line of work you're in, how you live your day-to-day life, why you do what you do, all about your life. It's about something a bit personal. Then maybe you don't have much to share right now because you feel like you're not actually achieving actual the quality of life that you feel comfortable sharing. Well, share the stories of people you're working with and other people upline, and how you're working with them and the things that they're doing. Those sort of things. Do actual mutual videos together and things like that. Value is about giving somebody free tips on how to do things, things that you're learning along the way as well. So share those to help other people. They always say, you should, in online marketing, you should give, out of every 5 posts, 4 of those should be adding value and only 1 is asking somebody to do something. If you're just posting, if you're just pitching with every post you do on Facebook, that's going to be a turn off to me. I don't get drawn to people who all they're doing is pitching all the time. I like to engage people who have something of value to add. And motivation, inspirational posts. Now, if you see something that really...
Just hit the back, it's on.
Yeah. If you can please mute your microphone, that'd be great. If you can basically, share things that have inspired, motivated you, things of interest with people as well. Those are the 3 areas. Your second and third posts, engage on the news feed from your previous posts. So go back to the posts you've already posted where you've had some interaction, and again, go into the comments and start more dialogue with people who have responded or have shared or liked, and ask open questions that start a conversation. And again, the algorithm will get stronger and stronger. And use emojis. Facebook loves emojis, so they do work. This will be actually recorded, so you'll get to see these times of the day that are recommended to post on different social media channels. I don't know anything about Instagram, to be honest. I'm not a Twitter person. I'm not a big LinkedIn person, and I've used Pinterest in the past. But to be honest, Facebook for me has been one of the main things. Also, YouTube as well. They're my 2 prime things. But Facebook, basically, there's not many people who aren't on Facebook, and whether you like it or don't like it, it's irrelevant. Facebook is an amazing way to build contacts and engage, people interact. And you don't have to share all your personal life, your personal details. If you look at my timeline, I don't share a lot of intimate things about my life, but I share my personal views and my thoughts on things so they get to know who I am. Building a Facebook friends list. Add friends daily. Become the authority of your business and your area of interest in your circle of influence. The whole purpose of your timeline is for the actual community that you're building to see you as somebody who is the person who tends to know a lot about the financial world or Forex or cryptocurrency or personal development or fitness or whatever it is that you're into. You become the authority because your posts are constantly edifying that you have knowledge, skills, and experience in that area. And as I said, Facebook recommends people to you. So look at their mutual friends and their timeline and their about us, as I said before. Join groups and look at the comments and connect with people you identify with. You do get to choose who you bring into your business. You don't just have to sponsor anybody that turns up. Think about, again, who you'd want on your board of directors ultimately to run the life that's going to control the future of you and your family. It's about relationships. Relationships are the most important thing. And also collaborate with other people. Invite others to that you have common interests with, or you are your mentors, to share Zooms and lives with you, to share posts on each other's timelines, edify each other, because that's giving you with exposure to them and their context, and vice versa. And understand that organic traffic takes time to build. This is not about instant results. In a network back in 2017, I wasn't very effective on Facebook. I was really just trial and error. And a good friend of me taught me this actual relationship-focused way of Facebook marketing. And I started adding people every day that were recommended to me by Facebook. I go looking for people, and I built my friends list from 500 to 5,000 in about 90 days. And And from that, as I said, that led to me building an organization in 6 months of 17,000 people. And 80% of the organization came from 3 people that I found through that Facebook marketing. But it took time to build my friends list from 500 to 5,000. It took time to build those relationships and find those people, not only personally that I interacted with, but some of them were 2 or 3 levels down that I could then work with. So this is not about the one night stands, as I said at the start. It's about developing a database. At the end of the day, your database is something that's going to last a lot longer than the opportunity or the product that you're marketing. That's the whole thing. Once you've got people following you and identifying with you and want to work with you, that's the best, the most valuable asset you can have. So here's some sample posts that I've used successfully that have generated about 15 to 20 leads each. Organic. You know, if you're tired of hearing about COVID-19 statistics and reading toilet paper jokes, take 1 minute to watch a video about some cool software that's making me money weekly from any internet connected device. Type "show me the money" in the comment and I'll send you the video details. It's, again, I didn't mention the company, the name of the software, didn't even mention it was Forex, because I don't want them, I'm assuming straight away that it is Forex. I don't want them assuming straight away the name of the company. I want to keep it really, really simple.
Hey, Michael, can I interject and show
Yeah, sure.
something?
Sure.
Guys, this is a phenomenal type post for a few reasons. One, he is never going to get in trouble with compliance for posting non-compliant things with a post like this. This is a phenomenal post that also, as you can see, having 41 comments, people are really, truly interacting with Michael on this post. And every time somebody comments on this post, that refreshes it in all 41 of those people's eyeballs and their friends' eyeballs too. So this is a really, really amazing post.
Thanks. And there's a few things I'm doing here. Is you can see that the narrative I'm trying to do. Are you tired? You know, I'm targeting the people who are tired of just getting the COVID stats and it's all doom and gloom. Or, you know, it's only, we all enjoy a bit of the jokes that are going around right now. But, you know, are you tired of the toilet paper jokes? And have you got 1 minute? Everybody's got 1 minute. Everybody's got 1 minute to watch a short video. And I'm using that short 1 minute video the company has actually produced. It's making me money weekly. Again, so I'm looking at people who would like to earn money regularly from any internet connected device. So even if they only have a phone or a tablet, I'm not saying they need to have a PC or a laptop. And I'm asking them to do something. Type "show me the money." And again, show me the money is putting a word picture in their head about what this is all about. And they know that phrase where it comes from with actually Jerry Maguire and Tom Cruise. So it's something that, you know, they have past experience with as well.
Something else that's really important about that is show me the money. Facebook algorithms actually will not show your post when you have words in there, comment below. Those are triggers for Facebook to specifically not show your post. So by using a different phrase like "show me the money," that kind of negates around that Facebook censorship, if you will.
Yeah, good point. Here's a longer post, and I mix up my short ones with my longer ones. And what's really interesting is that my short posts get the highest interaction. My longer posts don't, but sometimes the longer ones are just to reinforce the short ones. I'm not actually worried about what interaction I get. You know, but why did I choose this exciting software? And I've just given some general things. And you can see, uses artificial intelligence in the financial market, whether the market's up or down. It doesn't actually get emotional, it gets smarter. I didn't need any prior experience. I get a whole education suite with it. I get access to a licensed financial expert. The software is designed to protect my profits and mitigate my risks. What am I doing? I'm answering the objection. So people who might have read the previous post are now reading something that's saying, well, that's pretty good because I don't have to worry about whether the market's up or down, and I've got great software to help me get a result. I don't need past experience or knowledge. I've got education and support to help me. I've got access to experts to help me along the way. And it's designed to protect my profits and reduce my risk. Okay, that sounds interesting. So that's another way, it's just another way to reinforce. I'm never interested in the outcome. It's a constant process of sifting and sorting and trial and error. Even with all the 20 years experience I've got online, I'm still testing things all the time. This one got 45 comments. If you knew what I knew about this money-making software I'm using and what else is coming down the pipeline to create more money, you'd have some sleepless nights too, getting more excited by the day. And that got 45 engagements. And again, it doesn't have to worry about whether the company says I can do this or not, because it says nothing about the company, nothing about that it's Forex. And I'm not promising any money. You know, I get tired of the posts, you know, making 1% a day, you know, blah, 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 blah. You know, like I said at the start, if the only reason people are joining is because of the payout percentage, straight away that tells me a lot about the person who's responding to those types of posts. And secondly, the next person comes along the next day and says, oh, I can give you 1.5%. Oh, I can do better than that. I can give you, and it's a bit like who's got the biggest, you know what. And that's, it's honestly, those people are never loyal. They're just loyal to the next best offering or the next best deal. I'm looking for people who understand that it's not comp plans and not products that make companies work or not. It's the people behind the company. It's all the legals, all the compliance and all the bigger picture things that typically pull down companies more than ever. And as Jolene said, if you keep the name of the company and even the name of the industry out of this, you'd have to actually worry about compliance. I'm just sifting and sorting. So you can see the thing I'm doing here. I'm also planting a seed. It's interesting. I had some people who responded to the last post I showed you, the short one, and said, it's not for me. And I said, that's really great, but do you mind if I keep you in my inner circle group? Because I've got something really interesting in the crypto space that's going to be coming down the pipeline in the near future, and I think you're really going to love it. Every single one said yes. So I haven't lost that person, and they're part of my inner circle. They're all of a sudden feeling valuable and they're important. And people like to feel they got a first mover advantage. They got the first notice of what's going on. And they might not necessarily be interested in Forex right now, but they are in the crypto space, for example. So I want to make sure I've got different ways to hook them. Or, you know, we've got this great app coming down the pipeline that's going to help the mass adoption of crypto. Imagine if we could solve the problems with having cryptocurrency being able to utilize around the world. Would that be of interest to you? Could I keep you in my inner circle group to give you the first notice of when it's going to be available? Another post, you can wait for a stimulus payment from the government to provide short-term relief, or learn how to create a stimulus payment in your bank balance every week. And again, that one had 16 comments so far. And sometimes images work really well, but if you notice that the two posts that got the most interaction didn't have a fancy image, weren't long posts, they were just short little posts. So that just gives you a sample, but again, I'm constantly mixing it up, some with images, some without, some long posts, some short posts, but I'm building a story, because once people start to interact with my timeline, I've had people who've gone back and responded to a post that I did a week or two ago and now asking for information. So don't think that if you didn't get a response within 24 hours, that people aren't going to respond at all. So I'm going to stop sharing there. And that's basically my presentation. You can open up to questions and answers.
Well, that was amazing, Michael. Thank you so much. There was a lot of information in there. One of the biggest takeaways that I got from that, and you guys chime in and tell us what your takeaways were, is Michael made it a very strong push for each of us to really be connected on social media. And when we see somebody do a post, make sure that you comment or put an emoji in their comment section, because you're helping juice their posts. And also, when we comment on people's posts, they come up in our news feeds more often. So we're able to then give back that same love. And when we do that, that means more eyeballs will be on all of our posts. So I love that. Thanks for sharing that, Michael.
My pleasure. And I hope that my personal story, was able to relate to a lot of people who may be thinking, you know, I don't have confidence talking to people. I'm not really good relating to people. I'm a bit of a shy person. Trust me, I mean, as you can see right now, I'm much more confident in talking to people. But if I get tired or stressed or run down, you know, I still occasionally miss a few words. And, you know, but again, it's about your actual identity as well. You know, you can build your identity and have that as thing to hold you, those adversities that hold you back, or you just accept that that's part of you, but it's not who you are. And so, you know, I was sort of in a way forced into learning this stuff, but I realized that those adversities and this methodology was my greatest asset in the end.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, does anybody else have any questions for Michael? Go ahead and unmute your mics. Ryan and I have talked about this technique being the backstop, the absolute must do no matter what, to be able to start conversations, authentic conversations with people every single day. We're in the people business, and the only way we move our businesses forward to get to our own individual whys is to actually talk to people. So I love this training. I appreciate all of you being on it. Michael, thank you so much for pouring into our community. We know that you have much more to give and are greatly appreciate the fact that you are so willing to bless us with that. So we are coming up on 45 minutes, and this is your last chance to ask any questions. This will be posted very soon on YouTube and Venmo in our community. Anybody else with questions?
On a closing note, the most important thing I would reinforce is don't come off this training and say, that was a really good training, but don't do anything. Get started today. Actually watch the recording, and it's about the consistency. It's not about the high quality of that one post. What will get you to the end goal is the consistency of adding people every day to your friends list, the consistency of posting every day. And it doesn't have to take a lot of time. You know, everybody in reality does have 20 to 30 minutes a day that they can do this. And most people spend more time watching funny videos and sharing, you know, jokes than they do on their own business. You know, do that after you've finished all the business activities. So it's about the consistency. That's what it's all about. And if you consistently do this, and what I'm going to talk to Jolene and Ryan about potentially some other things we can do to help lay down a train track for you to get started in the first sort of 21, 30 days of your social media campaign. But again, you know, it's all about what you do after this training session that will determine whether you have more friends, more interactions, more prospects that are coming to you rather than you having to try and chase them.
So Gord had one question, and he asked Michael, do you post exclusively on your personal timeline, or are you posting in groups and on other people's pages as well?
Yeah, interesting. I've created private groups for my teams in my businesses. I haven't really done any pages. I know that's a lot of people do that successfully. A lot of people do public groups. I've just done this purely off my own personal timeline. So I said, I want people to relate to me, because I find people are joining you, they're not joining the business. That's just the way I approach it. Now, I think if people can relate to me, and I've got a stronger chance of them sticking with me than just the opportunity itself. But yeah, it's I mainly focus on my own personal timeline, but groups, and that can be very good as well.
And just a note on pages for people who don't know this, unless you're paying for ads on Facebook, your pages are not being seen. Facebook really likes to monetize the pages, and that's why your personal profiles are extremely good, and they're free to do this kind of connecting. So with that, I'm going to say good night to everyone. Thank you so much for being on. Thank you again, Michael, for pouring into this community. It's greatly appreciated. We will see you guys tomorrow night on, how do I share this? I'm looking forward to seeing y'all there.